All right, I have to do this again. Today's ridiculous again. Hate crimes going on like crazy. Um, I went to the gas station at 2 o'clock, right at the edge of 62. Some weird ass man in a gray truck. He walked in right after I paid for my gas. He said, the attorney said, if we see that weirdo, we're to say something. I'm not a weirdo. I almost died to save my family and lived through a live concentration camp, left up there to die, and trying to save others and trying to help people got raped and tortured by those dirty cops up there. Police, FBI, and attorneys cannot tape you unaware in your home. It's illegal. It's abuse, misconduct, and entrapment. It's 5 years federal. They can't bug your phone. They can't bug your house. You have the right to privacy, right to remain quiet, right to legal representation, a right to a fair court trial, bail, and bond. They cannot erase the Constitution. The only way that they can actually be in your house and be in your house is a threat of life, ask for help, Miranda rights, witnesses, and the other person spoke to. Otherwise, it's a 5-year federal prison sentence. And everybody knows that they were photoshopped and drugged. Confessions. And you can't break in and stab somebody with a needle. You can't Photoshop them in porns. You know, I told Officer Reinhardt in Little Elizabeth about it. He started giggling, literally giggling. He said, don't you worry about a little thing. Until you actually gave your statement to Will, nobody could watch you in your home. It is. It's abuse and misconduct. This whole case is nothing but abuse and misconduct and a hate crime and murder. Extortion ring. Otherwise, why would they be involved? Those people had illegal surveillance with photoshopping, drugging. They said where I had the great big bruises on my legs and handprints on my arms, they were even abusing me under drugs. Then after I called the FBI, I didn't realize Will turned me over to the police, put me in protective life custody, thinking I'd be fine. List me informant, nobody's ever touched me again. And left me on his desk, February 7th, 22. I was in Louisville Giant Eagle with Becky, okay? I go to leave. There's a little tiny AutoZone. There's 2 guys standing out there. Will did this to her. Will did very little with this case. And he left it on his desk. Well, I left it in a concentration camp. The man that said, don't worry about a little thing, Karen. I'll take care of everything. And if it gets too bad, I'll pull you out. Karen, I'm going to pay you. You need to pull that tape of him talking to me. He offered me like $5,000-6,000 a month. FBI owes me a lot of money. And the remaining quiet got wiped out with that idiot telling Paymer the night before. And those men on the other side of the duplex, that house after mine, is a duplex. After 4490 John Thomas, there was men renting the other side of the duplex. The side right next to my house was an old lady. And then there was men staying there. And they had a copy of my phone and were outside mocking me. And I forgot to tell Will that and about the guy that told on me on a Paymer. And I forgot to tell Will about the guy threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle and the guy trying to kidnap me before, and it's the same guy. They were already drugging me up there. And it came out they were drugging me and abusing me. And if he would have gave a damn to watch one house tape, he would have watched those cops break in and stab me. He left me in a fucking concentration camp. I couldn't even keep liquid down. Do you know I had weirdos come up to me in Walmart? We always knew you're innocent. Don't you remember the sodium pentothal? Tell someone you're arrested. And then they tell me lies. And I look at them like, who are you? You're the reason I have a bruise? Yeah. And it's like, and then they say lies. And I'm like, that's not true. You can't stab somebody with a needle, roofie a drink, and then try to use it against them and frame them, let alone illegal surveillance and photoshopping. I told you, at the Oakland apartment, December 9th, 4 o'clock, they told him all the tapes before were them, not me, and it's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. The ball guy, December 9th, 21, also distributing food, I say before noon. He was in the back distributing food, ball guy, white, with dark eyes, came out and said, we always knew the tapes before were them, not her, so we never said a word. He told 2 investigators by January 3rd of 22 in security that they always knew it, okay? And Ed told the Canton police, and he told the African-American man that worked with him. And my car's bugged, and these idiots sold the login to a real protective life case that Will set up. So everybody knows I was drugged and I was framed. I don't get in trouble and you don't get money. And that makes me mad. They run around and call me names for being photoshopped where it was the weirdest thing. March 13th, 21, I was at Mercy Medical because I was being stalked by that weird Eric calling Altman Hospital, so they mistreat me. And they already framed the FBI. Framed him for the chip. You need to look into 12/21/18 Will's case. In the neck. Wake up with a dent in my skull, hair missing. They blame the FBI at Altman Hospital. Now they tape an audio. They tape in the audio through there for malpractice. We're here for Karen's Wealth Agency chapter. And the nurse points at me, is that why she's here? Now they had walked around Walmart. The case from the agency is called Karen's Will. Okay. Old woman gets in my face. The agency wanted the truth out of you. That's why they chipped you. I'm like, shut up. It's illegal. Dr. Alan Atinas, I tell him I may have a chip. He goes to leave my room. There's a man right there, some damn bastard neurochipper. He said, we already know. Now, they just framed the FBI. They told everybody they were agents from the agency stationed in the courthouse, and they were nothing but dirty undercover cops. You know, I was watching with my other client. They had a news thing. They were talking to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu or something like that from Israel, and said he found out his police were bugging his phone and watching him in his house. He said, we have really strict laws that they can't listen to your phone calls or watch you in your house. And he said, your U.S. government's even stricter. The guy started laughing. He said, I know it is. He said, your police can't listen to your phone calls or watch you in your house. No one can. The guy said, no. When he started giggling, he said, absolutely not. Nobody can be in your home. It's illegal. And he said, they couldn't look or listen. He said, I got investigators investigating the investigators. And it is illegal. That's what Reinhardt said, Officer Reinhardt Louisville. Don't you worry about a little thing until you actually spoke to Will. Nobody. And then you can only go into the threat of life case. On somebody in that home, ask for help, Miranda rights, witnesses, and then Dave had to be spoke to. That heavyset white guy the first week of October asked Dave about those people threatening her, and then he better not put his hands on her. Until he spoke to Dave, he could yell entrapment. And they can't look or listen. Maslin Police, it's not admissible. My one friend Walter used to be a prosecutor. It's not. We could never look or listen. Ever. No, because it's entrapment. It's abuse and misconduct. You know, they hire these lowlifes to say stuff to me and make fun of me for being photoshopped and drugged. And you know what? You lie under sodium pentothal. People have falsely confessed to luring children, falsely confessed to writing ransom notes, falsely confessed to crimes too, falsely confessed to Pearl Harbor. That's how much you lie under it. It's lethal too, and it's outlawed. It's spy flick movie stuff. It's attempted murder charges. You drug somebody, it's attempted murder charges. They're playing with pure hell. The FBI needs to do something. I emailed the Department of Justice and like, get a hold of the local FBI and have them fix this. Dirty cops, dirty attorney, and dirty judges. Extortion, drug, frame, rape, torture group. Yeah, that's a big FBI problem. And I'll tell you what, they need to listen to Will's recording. He offered me a lot of money, being an informant. And they need to pay me. And the remaining quiet doesn't matter because that ass told him or the night before, those people had a copy of my phone. And then they sold the login by Christmas 18. The agents are selling the login for money. They sold it to Washington State, California, Texas, Nevada, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Texas, New York, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Kentucky. I had a 2-mile-long brigade. Faith Family Church has it. Mancan and Canton. uh, Youngstown gas station, Sheets gas station, Streetsboro truck drivers, construction workers, teenagers, old ladies. They have seen the rape and torture between July and September 19. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. You want to keep playing? Even Mennonites have it. Jewish religions. I had a 2-mile brigade. Even Kent State University out down. Freemasons, retired vets. I went up and I drove by my old house. It's like, that's the house where the neighbor's son tried to grab me. That's the side of the duplex. And you can still see where the gravel is stained black, where they burned everything years ago. It was big as an ambulance. They need to find out what happened on the gunshot night. Some guy said it was a mean stop. And even that, it's racketeering and extortion. Them bullying me to give my jewelry back and putting a threat on my granddaughter's life. And I gave it back trying to save her life. Getting things out of fear and dress is extortion and racketeering. They need to do something about that chip too. And they need to do something about this hate crime because they framed the FBI for everything too. And they do need to make it right with me. They said, well, February 7th, I was in 22. I was in before noon in Giant Eagle in Louisville with Becky, my neighbor. We go to leave. There's a little tiny AutoZone. 2 men are standing outside AutoZone. Now my car's bugged. Goes into the case. Plus, they'd have surveillance of those 2 men. Will did this to her. Will did little with this case and left him on her desk, her on his desk. While I lived in a concentration camp, men breaking and stabbing me with needles, I had 8 bruises at one time. I couldn't even keep saliva down. I was losing 5 to 7 pounds a week, being put in the neck. Waking up 6 hours later, big dent in my head, skin feels funny, hair's missing, big bruise underneath my ribs. What the hell did they do to me that I was out for 6 hours? Yeah. Being raped and tortured between July and September of 19, almost shot driving, had to hide on a gunshot night, faced 6 stalkers trying to get him caught, saved my family, got raped and tortured trying to help a lady that lied that her husband died. Yeah, I'm publicly humiliated while I laid on that man's desk and he retired. The FBI better do something about this. My one friend used to be a prosecutor, said it's illegal for the FBI to drop you no matter what. Once they agree to protect you, they can't drop you no matter what. The government decided to protect you because you had a threat on your life. They can move you to witness protection program or somewhere else, but they can't just drop you and say, go look on your own. They can't. It's illegal. It's abuse and misconduct, failure to protect. Yeah. But yeah, I expect the pay, and I expect them to start fixing this. My brother-in-law was a private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted war weapons, and worked under Dick Cheney. His name was Craig M. Davis. He died March 26, 1990. He was a genius. He was CIA and worked for both. He was a genius. And I tell you what, I wish he was alive. He'd take care of this. He would have nailed these people really quick. Kindest, sweetest, geekiest man on earth. And the best brother-in-law. Oh, she was alive. And these people with low lives, no IQs, participating in a hate crime, knowing that person was drugged and framed and photoshopped. And they make fun of the victim because they're so low lives. How sick and satanic are they? You can even pull January 25th of 1930, and I'm crying in my room. They tell Dave, in a legally bugged house. The police always knew she was innocent before. They were talking about it at the station. Some guy was from a team and said, if she's innocent, I'll pay her fine or bail. And said, no, the police already knew she was innocent before. And it was somebody else that did something wrong before. It's not your fault. And they run up and down the street like they're gonna get money, and I'm gonna get in trouble for their altered tapes, their illegal surveillance, and their drug confessions. They're insane, and someone needs to help.